Now, no matter how dull the WWE may get, there's always exciting news outside the ring to report on. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at your 17th October 2019 news, including Eric Bischoff's next destination, more WWE Draft moves, WWE Backstage Ratings, an AEW injury, Jon Moxley comments on whether Renee Young could head to AEW, Jake Hager on the secret to AEW's success, as well as Jon Moxley's, why Darby Allin passed on the WWE, 2 WWE Hall of Famers announced for Raw, and the Wildcard rule isn't over just yet. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more videos like this. Let's waste no further time and get into the first story as we look at Eric Bischoff's next destination. Now, while the details surrounding Eric Bischoff's departure from the WWE are still coming out, we do know that ATM Eric has already found a new destination. No, it's not AEW, it's Starrcast 4, the wrestling convention scheduled for the same week as AEW's pay-per-view Full Gear. Ringside News reports Eric Bischoff does not have a no-compete clause preventing him from working for another wrestling company since he did not appear on WWE television. Whether or not this is true, the real question is what role Bischoff could work out effectively in another wrestling company. Next up, more WWE Drafts. The WWE revealed more draft picks yesterday during an episode of its show The Bump, with the following superstars drafted to Raw: No Way Jose, Mojo Rawley, Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, The Iconics, and Sarah Logan. As for SmackDown, the Blue Brand drafted Luke Harper, Cesaro, Drake Maverick, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, and Dana Brooke. Considering the WWE has about 3,000 superstars under contract, or at least it seems that way, we could see draft picks every week. Next up, Jon Moxley comments on wife Renee Young on whether she could head to AEW. During a recent interview, AEW star Jon Moxley was asked whether his wife plans on leaving the WWE for his home in AEW. He answered, she's got a lot of stuff on her plate, a lot of things she wants to do. I mean, you'd have to ask her what her goals and aspirations are, but she has a lot of them outside the wrestling business. Right now she's just like, right now over there she's completely invaluable. She has a lot of great opportunities with Fox, and which is great for her, and her future is in her hands. She can do whatever she wants, and it's good to be her right now. A lot on her plate right now, a lot on her plate. It's very cool, you know. Young is doing extremely well for herself, and could even find herself working for Fox Sports in a non-wrestling capacity if she continues to grow as a broadcaster. But speaking of Renee Young and WWE Backstage, she hit back quite hard at some of the haters.
Get your job when you can ruin a stone cold stunner.
No. Listen, when have I ever in my life called a stone cold stunner? Hey, listen, I already got let go from that job, but I got this job. Yeah. I got all that Fox money, baby.
Good for her, as wrestling fans can be dicks sometimes. But whilst we're on the subject of WWE Backstage, let's look at the ratings for the first episode. Fox Sports 1's preview edition of WWE Backstage aired on 15th October, with Renee Young, Christian, Booker T, and Paige analysing the current affairs in the WWE. According to the Daily Buzz, the show pulled in 597,000 viewers with a 0.20 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic. The preview show aired for the Major League Baseball playoff game between the New York Yankees and Minnesota Twins, which undoubtedly helped in the ratings. The show ranked 25 out of 50 overall in the cable ratings for 15th October. Next up, some AEW news as Jake Hager comments on the secret to AEW's success. Wrestling's oldest mark Dave Meltzer recently spoke with AEW star Jake Hager, with the wrestler turned MMA star commenting on what he sees as one of AEW's strongest suits. I talked to Jake Hager this morning for quite a while actually, and it was interesting talking to him because he was so gung-ho on the issue of no house shows. You know, you go in there once a week. He says this is going to be the greatest thing for the talent because they're going to get to live real lives. They're going to go to work, they're going to focus on their one match a week, and they can just go balls out on this one match a week. He said that's why they're going to beat the other guys. Of course he's biased because he's also on the team now. He was also talking about how great the atmosphere is. He's really putting over the atmosphere, but his take was when it comes to actual matches, we're gonna kill them because our guys will be one match a week and focus on that one match a week, while these other guys are gonna be, 4 days a week, 5 days of travel, driving 500 miles in a single day, going in the hotels, trying to eat restaurant food, the whole grind of being exhausted. No sleep constantly. Now Hager has a point, and it will prove interesting to see if AEW can commit to not running house shows or adding television time to their schedule. But whilst that was Jake Hager's point of view, Jon Moxley also gave his views on AEW's success. As during an interview about AEW, Jon Moxley discussed what he feels will keep matchups fresh in AEW. I think that's important, to see guys fight every single night for 8 weeks. 8 weeks later, you're kinda sick of them fighting. I think one thing we have to make sure we have the big fight feel, because we're gonna have just 4 big pay-per-views a year. The big fights are gonna have to be the big fight feel, like the first time you see them square off in the ring. Like we got through all the press, we got into town, and when the bell rings, it's like, oh, okay. I think a lot of wrestling on television over the last few years is everybody is fighting everybody all the time, and everybody is pinning everybody, everybody's beating. Champions are getting pinned every night. You get a title match because you beat the champion. Well then he's not the champion anymore, is he? I think we need to preserve the old school big fight feel. It will be easier for us with only 4 pay-per-views a year. We may end up doing more, but I think that'll be easier on us to do that because we won't need so much content. As we've discussed before, will AEW be able to resist the lure of big money deals to produce more content or air more pay-per-views should they launch some sort of subscription-based streaming service? Can AEW's owner make enough money to justify running only one television show per week? And will AEW stars revolt if this were to change? Let's see if this changes in 2020. Next up, why Darby Allin passed on the WWE. AEW wrestler Darby Allin recently spoke with Uproxx about his fascinating journey from film school to the squared circle, along with the reason he passed on an opportunity to train at WWE's Performance Center. Allin told Uproxx's Emily Pratt, "There's a million guys there who are never gonna see the light of day. It's not worth it." So I was like, I'm not even interested. I'm not the type of guy who wants to sit on the sidelines and say, gee, I'm happy to be in the WWE. I don't give a f. Allin has worked hard to get himself over, and if you get a chance, check out the interview as it provides a fascinating perspective on a wrestler's struggle to succeed without compromising his core values. Next up, a little bit of big news as an AEW star is injured. Jurassic Express star Luchasaurus was forced to miss round 1 of the AEW Tag Tournament due to a hamstring injury. Luchasaurus has quickly become one of AEW's most popular stars and will hopefully be back soon so AEW can build on his rapport with the fans. Luchasaurus' injury reveals one of AEW's weakness. A smaller roster means the promotion is more vulnerable to injuries affecting it than a larger one. Jon Moxley's elbow injury that sidelined him for several weeks led him to missing AEW's second pay-per-view, with some analysts believing this hurt the show's buy rate. Next up, a rising Ring of Honor star is working at the WWE Performance Center. Fightful.com and PW Insider reporting that 22-year-old Maria Maniac is currently at the WWE Performance Center. Maniac has become a sensation due to her incredible brawling skills, and word has it that Ring of Honor wants to sign her again after her 6-month contract expired. With the WWE flush in money, there seems to be no end to their hiring frenzy, even if it's being done to rob other promotions of wrestlers. How much longer before the WWE finds itself with too many wrestlers to book? Some might say they're already at this point, despite expansions into other countries and talk of NXT promotions beside the US and UK. Next up, 2 WWE Hall of Famers have been announced for Raw. It seems like Raw will get a significant ratings boost for the 28th October edition of the show, as both Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair will be appearing. The two will no doubt hype up the Crown Jewel match and possibly confirm Rollins' replacement. We say that there's going to be a significant boost because the last time the two appeared, 500,000 viewers tuned in to see them, but tuned right back out after they finished, proving the two are still a huge draw in 2019. And a top story, the Wildcard rule isn't over just yet. Now, although The Fiend and Universal Champion Seth Rollins now work on separate brands, the two are scheduled to meet in a steel cage match at the 4th November episode of Monday Night Raw. No word on how the WWE is bypassing the brand split to make the match, But it's obvious the wildcard rule hasn't finished just yet, but wasn't the whole point of the draft to make the wrestlers segregated to each brand and make them more exclusive? Well, this is no surprise to anyone familiar with Vince McMahon's fast and loose policy of following continuity in his company. As speaking of The Fiend, it seems that Triple H is said to have predicted the WWE was headed for trouble when they booked The Fiend against Seth Rollins in a Hell in a Cell match. Triple H was probably one of several people inside the WWE who saw the disaster waiting to happen. How the WWE gets itself out of this mess without further harming The Fiend's momentum may be one of the biggest stories of the year, especially when there's 2 rematches on the cards now. But there you have it guys, your latest WWE and AEW wrestling news. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.